Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started.
The new bloodline is currently facing some internal turmoil in WWE, as things between Jacob Fatu and Sikoa aren't as good as they once were. In the past few weeks, there have been many instances where Fatu expressed his frustration with Sikoa and hinted at a breakup with him. Given this development, it's conceivable that Jacob Fatu might soon debut the Samoan SWAT team in the Stamford-based promotion. For those unaware, when the Samoan Werewolf wrestled for the Major League Wrestling promotion, he was part of this faction along with Juicy Finau and Lance on Hawaii. Last year, Lance signed with WWE under the developmental brand NXT. This sparks the chances that Jacob might bring Lance to the SmackDown brand and form a new version of the Samoan SWAT team in the company. A faction like this will elevate the 32-year-old star's status in the sports entertainment juggernaut. Additionally, it is also a fitting way to introduce Lance now to the main roster. This path also opens the doors for a singles babyface run of Sikoa in the company. It remains to see how things will unfold in the upcoming weeks and how tensions will arise between Jacob Fatu and Sikoa. Jacob Fatu might soon become champion in WWE, as per the real-life Bloodline member. Since his debut, Jacob Fatu has impressed the fans with his skills and incredible performance. Recently, the real-life Bloodline member Journey Fatu shared his prediction regarding the future of the Samoan Werewolf. Journey predicted that Jacob might soon become a champion in the Stamford-based promotion. Additionally, Fatu also holds a firm chance to become the face of the company in the near future. Of course, anyone who works hard. For Triple H and any of the WWE board members, for anybody who needs to see any pro wrestler individually to be a part of the company or who can carry the company or who could be the face of the company, why not? If you think Jacob Fatu's going to be the face of the company, you just have to wait and see, Fatu said. As of now, the 32-year-old star has only become WWE Tag Team Champion as part of the new bloodline. It will be interesting to see what the future holds for Fatu. For months, the whispers had grown louder. The bloodline, once the most dominant faction in WWE history, was fracturing. Roman Reigns had not been seen since his shocking loss at WrestleMania, and with his absence, cracks turned into canyons. The Usos had walked away in rebellion, and Paul Heyman, ever the wise strategist, appeared increasingly desperate to hold what remained of the empire together. But backstage, a storm was brewing. A storm with Polynesian power, tattooed fury, and untapped potential. Jacob Fatu, the Samoan Werewolf, had long been a force of destruction on the independent circuit. His arrival in WWE had been rumored for months, and fans had been salivating at the idea. But no one could predict what was coming next. He wasn't coming alone. Enter Sikoa, the silent enforcer of the bloodline. He had remained loyal to Roman Reigns through every betrayal, every collapse, but deep inside, Solo had grown tired. Tired of being the attack dog. Tired of cleaning up the mess while Roman soaked in the glory. And most of all, tired of being underestimated. What started as quiet conversations in dimly lit locker rooms quickly became something more. Fatu and Sikoa, cousins by blood, brothers by choice, began training together at the Performance Center after hours. Their chemistry was undeniable. They didn't need words, they fought with a shared fury, a primal connection born of their shared lineage. But this was never just about tag team gold. This was about freedom. The night finally came on an electrifying episode of SmackDown, live from a sold-out arena in Miami, a fitting location given the family's deep roots. Paul Heyman, clutching the bloodline's ceremonial lace, stood in the ring next to a visibly conflicted Sikoa. Heyman, the puppet master, had arranged for an official coronation of Solo as the new tribal chief, hoping to salvage the shattered faction. As Heyman droned on about legacy, responsibility, and keeping the island of relevancy alive, the arena lights flickered. The Tron ignited with a message: blood doesn't bind us. Brotherhood does. Cue Jacob Fatu's theme, a fierce tribal beat, accompanied by war chants and primal roars. The crowd erupted as Fatu stormed down the ramp like a warrior unleashed from the jungle. His eyes burned with determination, and the fans, long aware of his reputation outside WWE, welcomed him like a hero returning from battle. Solo stepped back from Heyman, his expression unreadable. Heyman pleaded, gesturing for Solo to stay loyal, to remember his place. But in that moment, Solo extended his fist toward Jacob Fatu. Without hesitation, Fatu bumped it, sealing their bond in front of the entire world. The crowd roared. Heyman's face fell in horror. And then, chaos. Fatu and Sikoa pounced, dismantling Heyman with ruthless precision. The Enforcer and the Werewolf moved like two halves of the same monster. Spinebuster from Solo, top rope moonsault from Fatu, Heyman was left in a heap, clutching the broken pieces of the Bloodline's past. With Heyman silenced, the two cousins grabbed microphones. "No more kings. No more crowns," growled Solo. "We run with wolves now." Fatu followed, his voice thunderous. "We fight for us. For our family. For our legacy. We ain't bloodline. We're blood brothers." The crowd, sensing the birth of something special, erupted into a deafening chant, "Fatu. Sikoa." In the weeks that followed, Fatu and Sikoa redefined what it meant to be a tag team in WWE. Their style was raw, aggressive, and unrelenting, a blend of street brawling, high-flying ferocity, and brutal power moves. They named their team the Samoan Storm. Merchandise flew off shelves. Their entrances felt like main events every single time, with Samoan dancers and fire rituals adding an authenticity that fans devoured. The audience saw something real in them, not a manufactured product of a crumbling faction, but two warriors reclaiming their destiny. More importantly, they made it clear, they weren't against their family. They were fighting for their family's honor, away from the manipulation and politics of the Bloodline's corruption. "We're not turning our backs on our blood," Fatu explained in an emotional backstage interview. "We're turning our backs on the lies." Their rise through the tag division was meteoric. In record time, they dismantled teams like the Judgment Day, the Street Profits, and even the Dominant Imperium. Every match felt like a war, every victory a statement. And soon, they set their sights on the undisputed tag team championships. But it wasn't just about gold. It was about sending a message to the entire industry, and to Roman Reigns himself. The eventual confrontation with Roman was inevitable. On the eve of SummerSlam, Roman made his long-awaited return. Draped in arrogance, he confronted his cousins in the center of the ring. For a moment, fans wondered if this was a family reunion or the beginning of civil war. Roman tried to play the role of the benevolent king, offering them a seat at his side. But Fatu and Sikoa were not there to kneel. "This island has no king," Solo declared. "It has warriors," Fatu finished. With no further words, fists flew. The clash was epic, a family implosion played out on the grandest stage. The Usos, torn between allegiances, ultimately chose neutrality, watching from the ramp as their family's future was written in sweat and blood. By the end of the night, Fatu and Sikoa stood tall, having defeated Roman and his last loyalist in a brutal tag match. The symbolism wasn't lost on anyone. The Bloodline era was over. The era of the Samoan Storm had begun. As they held their newly won titles high above their heads, the camera caught a final shot of the two cousins, arms draped over each other's shoulders. No crowns, no thrones, just warriors, bound by loyalty to one another and to their true legacy. The message was clear to everyone watching. They weren't breaking out of the Bloodline. They were building something far greater.